We've just found out that President Trump is in the unredacted Epstein files over 1 million times.
It's too bad they eat kids. A small insulated bag would be fine. I don't remember checking it.
With children, I do want you to know who and what they're sacrificing to. Level of discernment you have to have when reading.
Do the islands come with the children or the children? This island does have a small school. There are children. Okay, so I don't know if that's... Yeah, what countries are near to abduct them from? Cambodia, Thailand.
Please, I don't have any time for any gossip now. Huh? Yes.
Look at you.
Do something with it.
It's just money coming to me easily. Money coming in and needing me. Money coming in repeatedly. Money coming, it's just money coming. It's just money coming to me frequently. Money coming in to be with me. Money coming in secretly. Money coming, it's just money coming. It's just money coming to me always. Money coming in all day. Money coming in all pay. Money coming, it's just money coming. It's just money coming to me frequently. Money coming in to be with me. Money coming in secretly. Money coming, this is money coming.
Something about the last few years have been so disturbing. Let's talk about these files and what has been found in these files. And the fact that I have been covering this for a very long time, because y'all remember the Spanish lady that I posted in a video when they were eating the mermaids? Where she was basically talking in Spanish, saying that she got there, she was a model, I guess I was supposed to be attending one of these parties, and she was saying that they're eating the children, and that initially when she arrived, she did not expect something like that, like to see an actual human on the table being served for dinner. And also there's another lady that she was also speaking with very high, heavy accent. She was basically saying that she went to a party where she found they were serving the person who, once she went to one of the parties before, was an artist, and then she came back to the party, they were being served that same person who was an artist, like drawing artist, not like a singing artist, but a drawing artist, right? I have been posting these videos for a long time, but I came across this other video that is the reason why I decided to continue making videos about this Epstein file, because things keep coming out. And also I came across this video where if, for example, you hear somebody talking about, oh, the jerky, what do you think of? You think of beef jerky, you think of like animals, right? You think of like the jerky, like a meat that they have basically put through a certain process to become jerky, right? But in this video, they kept saying, oh, we're serving jerky tonight. Oh, we sent you jerkies that should last you this amount of time. And somebody else replying back saying that they thought that it was supposed to last them this long, but they ran out. So now they need more jerkies. And then something else that came out that really made me disturbed was they're saying that the jerky is running in the yard. The jerky is walking, the jerky is running. What do you think when you hear something like this? I'm assuming beef jerky, maybe a cow or something? No, they're not describing cows. They're describing people. They're describing children in these emails. So all of these people who have been trying to keep this email private know that if this thing come out, remember how I keep telling you guys that there are certain things that are happening behind the scenes that if they expose these things is going to cause mass hysteria? Well, these are one of the things that I'm talking about, like the consuming of other humans and all that stuff. So I'm going to share this video with you where they're basically talking about the jerky and they're referring to children. And also, please, this video, there's a lot of trigger warning. There's a lot of disturbing things that you might see and it's disturbing to you because they actually have been dropping pictures and emails and all the stuff. And when you read them, when you listen to, when you watch it, it's going to make you feel some type of way. Just please bear with me here because this is disturbing and I want you guys to be able to open your mind's eye to see what I'm talking about. Because there's one file that I will be sharing a clip of where they mentioned that our president right now has been to this place over 1 million times. 1 million times. And I do believe that it's not just Epstein Island. I think there's different locations as well. But there's a lot of your favorite celebrities that have attended. They might try to exclude themselves out of everything, but they have attended, you know? Because at the end of the day, and when I mentioned that Nicki Minaj, instead of trying to be up Donald Trump's ass and, you know, dancing like, you know, a puppet, you could support this man, but behind the scenes, but I feel like they're both benefiting from this. And the fact that you're exposing the Jay-Z's and Beyonce's when it comes to that stuff with the Epstein Island and everything, you need to expose everyone that's a part of that. Don't exclude him because you need support from him now, because he has been proven to be a part of the island, who has basically traveled to the island, right? Even Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell don't want to confirm that this man has been in the islands. It's probably because he has maybe protected them, pardoned them. Hell, I don't know. Well, I think she's still in jail. I know she's still in jail, but I feel like they're getting something. A lot of stuff might be hidden because they're protecting this man, because they're protecting his name and not saying that he is part of the islands or he has been to the islands. But the files don't lie. So if Nick is going to expose everyone else, you need to expose this man as well. And I know that he's probably protecting you. And I know in my other video I mentioned how Nicki Minaj's husband also might be protecting her, as well as the president protecting her. So they're both basically getting something out of this, right? Nick is getting something from the president, which is protection, and or getting her gold card that was actually not a real gold card. And then she's also getting help from her husband. He's protecting her. Because have you noticed how ever since she married this man, he has been around, and you know, he's getting into fights with Safari and da-da-da. He's like her bodyguard. So in that sense, this is what I mean by protecting her. And we're going to get into that because he is protecting her when it comes to like the street type of protection. Not because he has money or he's providing for her or he's doing this for her and doing that for her. No, it's about street protection. And I will talk about that in the next clip because this one's getting kind of...
I just saw one of the most disturbing fucking images of my entire life come out of the Epstein files, so major fucking trigger warning. Here it is. If you want to know why they have redacted pictures of a cutting board, look at the foot sticking out. That's a child. They're prepping to eat. I told you guys cannibalism was next. I told you they're fucking eating people. Babies. It is in fact that bad. It does in fact get worse. And yes, it is pretty much every single person that's been in power for basically centuries. This is what they've been doing. The Epstein files are in fact this bad, and they get worse. Really giving a whole new meaning to eat the rich. Huh. I hate it here. I hate it here. I fucking hate it here. How...
We've just found out that President Trump is in the unredacted Epstein files over 1 million times. He initially appeared in the redacted files over 38,000 times, but now that the representatives have been able to review the unredacted files in their entirety, Representative Jamie Raskin has reported seeing Trump's name over 1 million times. I need you to really take that in, because you genuinely think that the guy is riddled throughout a child sex trafficking ring's files over 1 million times is not guilty? There's also multiple incriminating emails available about Trump's involvement with Epstein as they are trying to actively cover up their relationship. Interesting how there's multiple victim accounts of Trump abusing them in the files, and then there's this email. Trump is the dog who didn't bark. And a victim spent hours at the house with him? And another email about Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell using girls from his Mar-a-Lago spot. And yet another email discussing Trump's PR risk on Epstein because of their relationship and possibly having him hang himself if he does not win the presidency. And this is only about a year before he took his first time in office. And I also want you to watch both Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell refuse to answer whether or not Trump was involved with minors.
Have you ever socialized with Donald Trump in the presence of females under the age of 18?
Though I'd like to answer that question, at least today, I'm going to have to assert my 5th, 6th, and 14th Amendment rights.
Are you aware of Donald Trump ever engaging in sexual activity with an individual introduced to him by you or Jeffrey Epstein?
I invoke my 5th Amendment right to silence.
This is genuinely the easiest fucking whodunit I have ever seen in my life, and it is still going over y'all's heads. If y'all want to prove his innocence or watch some pedophiles' heads fucking roll, then maybe we should open a fucking investigation? Around 10 other countries right now have open investigations on officials that have been merely associated with Epstein. Our president is in the files over 1 million times. Where is the investigation?
It's too bad they eat kids. A small insulated bag would be fine. I don't recommend checking it. No need for crazy amounts of ice. One should do. There is one bag of beef jerky in the fridge. Please get it. Also, Blank has more at her place. Please get it from her as well. I suppose it needs to be in a cold, insulated bag. Just wanted to touch base about jerky. JE said he was going to start eating regular food again, so he might be eating less jerky. He said he has 6 bags of it in the downstairs freezer. Why would you freeze jerky? Steve needs a 6 to 8 ounce portion of jerky. I gave you all the jerky we had, and it lasted only half the amount of time it was meant to. I felt like it was more important for you to have the jerky to eat during my time off. My plan is to make a batch before I leave for LSJ, and some of that will go to Steve, and the rest will go to you at LSJ when I arrive. Little St. James Island. And that's what LSJ must mean. So logically, that means that they were doing this off of the island. Steve Hansen is sending jerky to your attention overnight. I believe it should be enough to get him through. Jeffrey Epstein is asking to bring him more jerky. I'm flying in on Friday. I will bring jerky. Is there a time I could come say hi and drop off the beef jerky? And that's from Jeffrey Epstein. Francis has time to come tomorrow. Show me how to make it. Jerky class anyone. He will bring you to taste his new jerky recipe from the restaurant. He sends a warm hello. He's working at a restaurant called guys, the restaurant's called Cannibal and Cooks. Wait for it. Beef jerky and steak.
I know the first clip had a little echo to it. I think I fixed it now, but let's get into it. I got a new microphone, guys, just because I didn't know how to fix that weird sound it keeps making every time I talk. So let's get into why I believe that Nicki Minaj got married to her husband, because for some reason, he is here to protect her in a way. She knew him since they were young, right? And I believe that was probably her first love. He ended up going to jail. A lot of her music talks about how she wants to save him. I remember there's I don't know which music it is, but you know, I was Eve with the apple on the tree. The vision ended with an apple on the tree. Right? So read the lyrics and listen to what it's actually saying. And the symbolism, the apple, you know, a woman, somebody ended that relationship with Nicki Minaj, or somebody caused the relationship to end where they had to be separated, and now she's basically trying to save him, trying to be like Superwoman to go and save him, right? So when I talk about how he basically saved Nicki because of his street credit that he has, it's because when Nicki was in the industry, when he was in jail, she basically had no one to turn to, right? Because everybody was of the industry. And plus the people who she knew back in the days, she can't trust because now she has money and she cannot trust him. But she felt like she could trust this man. And as soon as he got out of jail, she went to go find him in the ghetto. I remember when Nicki went to go find this man where he was. And then they got married within like a few months or a year or so later. And when I said that he was protecting her, it's because this man has street credit. And because Nicki couldn't trust anybody else around her that are part of the celebrity world, so therefore she had to find someone who she feels also is just as scary because he's of the street. He's like a street nigga, right? To protect her. And that is the reason why whenever she goes anywhere, he's always around as like a bodyguard, although he cannot cross state lines, but he's there as like a bodyguard to protect Nicki. So therefore, that is the reason why I feel like she would jeopardize her career to marry a PDF file, which has been convicted as a PDF file. That's why he's on the list and everything, because if they didn't find him to be guilty, he would not be on the list, right? But I feel like she found that this familiarity from this man, and also because he has street credit, so therefore he's there to protect her. Remember how he used to go back and forth with Offset, and also he was there with the Safari, got into a fight and da-da-da-da. I feel like she just felt comfortable and protected by this man, even though apparently, allegedly, he is using all her money and also has all these girls or whatever, just like Jagger Rice says that Nicki even has been getting her head bashed between the sink and the counter. We don't know this to be true. but she feels safe with this man. She feels like he's protecting her because he's more familiar than the people that she's used to. And also she couldn't trust anybody around her, so she had to go find someone that she felt she could trust, but also will be here to protect her. So that's what I mean when I said that he can protect her. Not because he has anything to give her physically, but he can protect her in that way, right? So anyways, let's talk more about the whole children and everything. These people have been doing this for a long time. If Nick is going to call people out, call everybody out, because even the Kardashians allegedly have been discovered in those files as well. I believe every celebrity has gone to those parties one way or another, one time or another. They have been gone because a lot of these people are a part of the list. They might not be there one day when they're serving humans. Maybe they didn't even participate, but they have been to the island. They have been a guest in the island. Maybe it's a way of leveling up to the next level. Maybe it's a way of getting, you know, a new gig. Maybe it's a way of getting into a new show, you know? Y'all know how a lot of people didn't feel like Kim Kardashian was qualified enough to be an American Horror Story, even though she did a good job, in the episode that she was on. People did not feel like she's qualified, but she was in the right room talking to the right people to be able to get that position. So I feel like a lot of people, if they want a position, if they want to be something, you know, and even though they don't have the talent, if they go and they do certain things, they get those positions. So therefore, I would not be surprised if a lot of people, even black ones, even Spanish ones, even white ones in Hollywood have been to this island in order to get themselves a job. I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised if everyone that come out of Hollywood has been on this island. Because I feel like Epstein, the guy who started the whole island, was collecting data from everyone to blackmail everybody. That way he can save himself when something like this come up. That is the reason why he recorded everything. He put everything in emails because you can trace those things. And if something were to come up about him, I wouldn't be surprised if this man was able to get out scot-free. Like he's not actually, we don't know. But there are a lot of people who are, one, being protected because of the blackmail situation that he got. They probably have a bunch of blackmail stuff against each other. And or there's a lot of people who are being exposed because they did not fall in line and follow the rules, right? Because these people are always recording each other so they can blackmail you based on what they have on you. So I would not be surprised if every celebrity, because a lot of your faces are starting to come out, and those emails, I mean, it's getting crazy, you know? So yeah, let's get into the next video. I think I talked about this before when I was watching this one show on Amazon Prime. It's called The Hunger. It's a really, really old show. I'd say 2003 or 2001 or something like that. And there's one episode on there where this Asian guy, he was a very famous cook. And he was hired and paid top dollars to come to someone's house and cook privately for all of his friends. And when he got there, he actually accepted the deal because the man's other person passed away or something for some reason. And when he got there, to his surprise, first of all, the money sounded fishy because why are you paying me this much just to cook for one party for one night? Well, they were testing to see if he would be a good one for all their dinners that they will cook, but it's because he has to be okay with what he's cooking. Turns out he had to cook another human, which was crazy, but he was stuck there because he already agreed.
So now that everyone realizes I was right on the money when I told you the Epstein files were so horrendous because they contain sacrificial things with children, I do want you to know who and what they're sacrificing to. The level of discernment you have to have when reading and listening to people talk about these files is the main question that no one's asking, which is why, right? Everyone assumes it's for pleasure or this is like some sick fantasy these people have. It's actually more than that because the fantasy came after they did it for the first time, right? In the book of Enoch, it talks about these deities, right? These beings that fell from heaven, abandoned their post, and fell to mankind. These were the Watchers. With me, because I know you're like, what the fuck? Where are we going with this? Just chill. So Enoch, if you don't know, is the great-grandfather of Noah. You know Noah, the flood, but the ark, yes. It all coincides. Even though these books were removed by the Vatican and aren't in your Bible, they still exist. But nevertheless, the book of Enoch talks about the Watchers who were supposed to watch over mankind that corrupted us. Through this corruption, they taught things to humans, and it also involved very sadistic stuff and them mating with two of every animal. Jeffrey Epstein was obsessed with transhumanism and moving consciousness of humans into what we know as artificial intelligence. Why did I bring up the Book of Enoch and the Watchers? Because that's who they're sacrificing to. Those are their gods. You know how when you hear someone say, praise our Lord, praise thee, Lord, thank you, Lord? They're not talking to the God we know. They're talking to the Watchers that abandoned their post to watch over us, that are still in charge to this day, and this is why they need sacrifice. Because children are God's children. They do hold the innocence and purity that God bestows upon all of us.
They told us voodoo was evil, that our ancestors were demons, that Yoruba, Ifa, and voodoo were devil worship. But here's the truth. They had to make us hate our own gods so we'd worship theirs. If I can get you to see your own spiritual systems as dangerous, I can control how you pray, how you think, and how you move. Christianity was weaponized, so was Islam, not by the prophets, but by the empires. The Orisha are not demons. They're divine forces, just like saints, just like archangels, different names, same source. This isn't about religion, this is about colonization of the soul. And the moment you remember who you were before the indoctrination, you break the spell. You're not lost, you're returning. This reel found you for a reason.
This is the most demonic thing that I have ever heard in my life. As someone who comes from a country, an island where voodoo is their main religion, one thing I can tell you is that Haitians have never, ever sacrificed children for their gods. Never. Now, over here in the United States, they try to basically tell you that your religion, your practice is demonic, so don't look this way, look that way, right? So this is the demon worshiping people. This is the black magic people. This is these type of people, so don't look this way because we're pure, we are white, we are angels, right? Because when people think of white is right, dark is not. So therefore, anything that black people do is considered black magic and demonic. This is what I've been experiencing, not experiencing, but this is what I have been seeing. That people just always pair black people in their practice as demonic and evil. Meanwhile, white people, what they do is supposed to be love and light and all these things, right? But look at the people who are basically coming out as the ones who are sacrificing children to some god that they worship. You would never hear nothing about no Haitians sacrificing children. I don't want to keep saying the word because it triggers the algorithm. But you'll never hear no Haitians ever doing something like this. Because at the end of the day, the gods in Haitian voodoo and all that stuff, they respect children. Yes, there are things, it's powerful to do certain things when it involves children because of the innocence of the child and also, you know, the essence of a young child who has not been corrupt by the world. Yes, but they have never gone this far where they are literally worshiping and sacrificing children. We don't go this far. This is something that we do not believe in, because at the end of the day, we do believe that our children are the future, right? We believe that our children are the future and respect elders and children. So therefore, if you ever hear something about somebody trying to demonize the Haitian culture or the African, from like the African diaspora, you know, hoodoo, voodoo, obi, all that stuff, look at the people who are above us, who are literally controlling the people and the type of demonic things that they're doing. Meanwhile, you're demonizing someone who lights a candle to bring money into their life, or who lights a candle for love or something like this. Imagine the people who call themselves Christians in front of you, but behind the scenes, they are sacrificing children, little children, and eating them. And in one of the pictures where they had the person or child that was tied up like a turkey, they had 2 kids in the picture. This is how you brainwash children, because you start them very young. You make them think that this is what normal is. So therefore, when they grow up, they're going to basically continue this practice because this is all that they know. So when you have a bunch of children sitting around a table where they're literally serving another human being, that's what they're going to think is a normal thing. Can you blame them for growing up and becoming cannibals? You can, because that's how they grew up. That's what they were taught. that's the only meat that they know. That's like you growing up eating chicken and then somebody saying that, oh, eating chicken is evil and demonic. Yes, you might go and do your research and try to figure out why it is, because to you it's not a bad thing, because that's what you've been taught your entire life. So therefore, before anyone try to fix their mouth and call voodoo demonic, look at those people who are praising God in front of you. Meanwhile, they are going to an island and sacrificing children to some god that they believe is going to make them powerful, because all of these powerful people, they don't get to their position as powerful people to rule over nations without having to do some sort of sacrifice, something dark. And I can tell you one thing. Yes, I might tell you that Haitians don't do this, but the ones who are corrupt and in power, who are staying in power and the people cannot get rid of them, you know, the ones who are presidents, and no matter what the people do, they cannot give them off power. I would not be surprised if they actually dabble into stuff like this, who is deeper, what is deeper, in order to keep them in position. But the regular schmegular person who is just doing regular witchcraft or who is doing regular voodoo is not sacrificing children. They're not. They're just not. Because if that was the case, they would have been way higher in the position. They would have had a higher position than what they have now. Because the thing is, a lot of people don't realize that the people in power, staying in power, and they are very more similar than you think. So you would think, oh, the Democrats and the Republicans, they don't do the same thing. They are more similar than you think. They present as if they're not, because they need people to choose a side. At the end of the day, they need us to be at war with each other in order for them to continue to thrive. 1:11 on the clock as I'm saying this. This is the time. 1:11. 1 o'clock and 11 minutes on the timer as I'm saying this right now. And I wasn't even paying attention and looking at the time. But this is, you know, in my opinion, these people are out here doing stuff that is to keep them in power, to keep them ruling over us. Because at the end of the day, one thing, they have a lot of things in common. The fact that they are ruling over the little people, right? The fact that they're ruling over people, and also they're keeping their power. They might present to you as if they are on two different sides, but before they got on stage, they were having dinner together. They were having dinner together. An example, right? So it's really to keep us in the dark, to keep the people in the dark, because at the end of the day, you think, oh, I voted for this group, they won, and things are gonna get better. They both are funding each other, and whoever wins, they're going to eventually mingle together behind the scenes. Meanwhile, you're thinking, oh, I won this group, I'm a part of this group, so I feel special, and da-da-da. You're not special. These people are literally putting money behind who's going to win. Just like the Super Bowl, they put money behind which team is going to win. And I talked about this before when it comes to the whole Hunger Game too, but also when I talk about the Squid Game and how they were basically betting on the poor people who are literally willing to risk their life for money because they're so poor. So therefore, you got the rich people wearing masks and betting on someone who's going to either unalive themselves because they need this money, because you're desperate enough, you know, you need the money, because it's people, we are all a pawn in their game at the end of the day. Because the thing about that, and I even hear a thing where they wouldn't invite, like they wouldn't take black children to this island, thank goodness. You see, sometimes your rejection is your protection, because we always think, oh, you know, they're not including the dark-skinned people, dark-skinned people, but a lot of times it's a protection, because they're saying that the black kids would go home and talk to their parents and tell their parents what they have seen. Well, I'm assuming, I guess the white kids weren't telling their parents what they were seeing, or did they just never get a chance to leave the island? What's going on? Because if, for example, it doesn't matter what color you are, if, for example, you witness something like this, I'm pretty sure you'll go home and tell your mom, like, look, I saw something that was very strange to me. What the heck is this? What do you mean people are out here doing this? But that's what they were saying, that they didn't invite black children to the island because they talk too much and they complain too much and all this stuff. So I guess it's a good thing, and, you know, it's a blessing in disguise, you know? So anyways, y'all, I'll talk to y'all later. I'm done with this whole conversation. I will be covering, though, in the next video of all the celebrities that have been to this island, because they're on the list. So therefore, we're going to really, you know, it's probably why a lot of the celebrities unfollowed Nicki Minaj, because they didn't want to be exposed as part of the people. But I wouldn't be surprised if Nicki was part of the list too, and, you know, she got her name removed just like the president got his name removed, or at least redacted, or at least, you know, nobody's talking about it because he's the president and he's protected. Maybe Nicki ended up getting whatever she got from, you know, the president, and also she got her name off the list. We don't know if she ever been there, but if you're going to expose people, expose everybody. Because even if you've never been there, this man has. If you're going to expose people who have been sacrificing children, make sure you mention this man as well. Because just because he's protecting you now doesn't mean he's going to protect you forever. You know what I mean? Yeah. So anyways, guys, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye. So we're going to touch up some stuff on this book. So in this book is called Spell of Abundance, Love, Wealth, and Protection. So in this book, on the first page, actually, I have a glamour affirmation that you will basically say, you stand in front of the mirror and you stare at yourself and you admire yourself and you will say to yourself how beautiful you are. You'll basically seal this your beauty, like your glam, after you've done your makeup, or even stand in front of the mirror naked with nothing on, so you can really reaffirm yourself of your beauty, of your confidence, and all that. This book is mainly for like self-confidence and self-elevation, you know, calling the goddess in you, calling the divinity in you, you know, calling the beauty in you, and also work with the moon, because the moon represents the woman, the mother, water, all of this. So yeah, I have all the steps in here of all the spells that you need to do. It has one for to get rid of unwanted guests. It's pretty funny. To get rid of unwanted guests. And this book right here, right? So I'm gonna run down real quick about the materials that you're going to need. You will need a brand new broom. It has to be brand new. And you will need a piece of parchment paper, a black pen, a black trash bag, because we're going to get rid of this sucker, right? And of course your intentions. And also I have spells on here that you can say. I have daily affirmations, and also I have spells on here that you can do every single day to work with the energy of the planets of the day, and also the archangels that work with the day. So anyways, there's so many spells. There's a 7-day manifestation spell with archangels, and let's see, a 30-day money spell with bay leaves and the Fihu sign, which is a money sign. It's like an F with the extra part. Anyways, the symbol is there, and I even show you like what you need to do, what the sigil looks like, all that, and the keys to enhance your spell. So there are different things on here on how to enhance your spell, and